First of all, let me talk about this past weekend game. You know, I just got back and got a chance to meet with the coaching staff this morning. Hadn't seen a lot of it, but for what I've seen on the sideline, I can honestly say this, that I thought we showed a lot of positive. I can honestly say if we had played that way the week before without the mistakes, we'd been a lot better football team. But in that game the other night, we played against one of the better football teams in the area. You're talking about a team that has 18 starters back, one of the best quarterbacks around. They ran 85 offensive plays, which tells you that they are a good offensive football team. Running game, receiving, defense, and the encouraging thing about us, we was able to have a 100-yard rusher in Skinner. With basically a makeshift offensive line kind of. One of our better football players got kicked out in the first half. So we ended up playing with 3 freshman offensive linemen for the rest of the game, which is pretty tough. But we did it. I thought some receivers showed some things that we've been looking for. I think DJ probably played as relaxed of a game as a quarterback that I've seen since he's been here, and I think that says a lot, especially playing against a team like ULM. You see the pause, a confidence level. He threw the football better than I've seen him throw it. There's a lot of positive that came out of this football game. Arquez Cooper, who a true freshman, came up with an interception. Has been starting from day one. I thought the defensive backs did a good job of not allowing any deep passes on us. So we did some good things. It's unfortunate we had some penalties and a lot of other mistakes that really hurt us this past week. Gotta excuse me, I got some silence going on. But this week, you know, we go to Kansas City. You know, I look at this opportunity like Coach Robinson used to do for us, give us an opportunity to go to a lot of cities, play in major stadiums. It's to give a young guy an opportunity to play in Kansas City Arrowhead Stadium. I think that's big because a lot of these guys will never get that opportunity again. So to do that, that's great. Playing against Lincoln, who's coached by Mike Jones, did the press conference on yesterday, and how they introduced us was the fact that both guys had Super Bowl rings. One guy was part of the quarter, and the other guy was the tackle. You know, so that was good, but it's about the football game. It's about these young guys, and they get a chance to play against a team that is basically a hometown team. Mike is from Kansas City, so we know he's going to have them fired up and ready to go. We got a chance to see a little bit of the film. I had a chance this morning to see a little of it, but not as much as I like to do that today. But we just try to put some things together and keep what we got going forward, because I do think the guys realize we're a lot better football team than we've shown.
You mentioned quarterback DJ played better than you've seen him play in a while. Offensively, you guys seem to be finding the groove right about now. It's just a matter of putting it together?
Well, you know, think about it. Justin Miller, who's our starting right tackle, hadn't played yet. You know, he got rolled up the Wednesday before the Alabama A&M game, so ankle, he hadn't been able to play. Milo, our starting left guard, supposedly is waiting on some paperwork from his junior college. He hadn't been on the field yet. So we played with 2 freshmen in those 2 spots. So we really hadn't had the line that we're looking to have in the upcoming weeks. But that's not an excuse, because you got a depth chart. You got the other guys got to rev up. But we like what we have seen and what we have so far, especially after this past week.
Has Skinner kind of stepped up and taken over that running? Can be your main workhorse now?
Well, you know, we coming into the season, Skinner was the number 2 guy, and we knew that Skinner could do as well as Jawan. Jawan was ahead of Skinner basically because of his versatility, catching the football, blocking, and things like that. But Skinner, when you come to running, nobody's tougher than he is at this point. He has a bruised shoulder, so we don't know where he stands as far as when Saturday come around. But we certainly happy the way he ran the football. He ran it tough and gets a good defense. That was a good encouraging part about it. It wasn't like he was just running against a team that didn't play good defense. You got one of the top rush defense in the area, and ULM.
Talking about the defense that you faced, they gave you quite a few looks, and your offense should be prepared for a lot of things this season.
Oh, they came. They blitzed a lot, but our offensive line actually did a decent job of giving the quarterback time to get rid of the football. I think down the stretch when Clint went out the game, they got a couple of sacks down the stretch, and a lot of that late in the game, you're trying to make some things happen, and usually the quarterback holds on to the ball a little longer than usual.
Notice you had a lot of penalties. How do you correct those?
Well, all the penalties that we had, especially the first halves, are very correctable. You take the two unsportsmanlike, it's uncalled for. We've talked to Clint. When I got back here, him and I have a good sit down. We talked about it. But the other penalty was motion penalties. I think we had probably six motion penalties, 3 on one guy, 2 on another one. Those penalties are just discipline-like. That's a mindset. We can correct those penalties. It's just a matter of them settling down and realizing there's certain things you can't do. So do they bother me? They bother me because it was during the game, but as far as being able to correct them, I think we could do that.
So give me a scouting report on these guys. We hadn't heard a whole lot about them. What do they like to do, or do you know a lot about them?
I hadn't really seen. Like I said, this morning for about 15 minutes before we went to practice, I just got a first look at them. The coaches saw them yesterday while I was gone. I just got back from Kansas City last night, so I really hadn't seen a lot of them. Just talking to them, I'm going to go and talk to the offense and then talk to the defense as to exactly what they do. Don't know a lot about them. I know they play 4-3. They've been struggling the last year. They was like 1-10 last year. They 0-1. They got beat by Linwood 24-22. They was down like 24-3 at one point. They came back, scored 19 straight points. So they're enthusiastic football team. I think Coach Jones has done a great job as far as getting some athletes in there. So there's one of those teams that we can't afford to go and just let hang around. But we're going to find out exactly what they do in the next hours or so.
You guys are obviously both looking for your first W then. I'm sure your guys would be really hungrier to get it earlier in the year right now to really set the tone for the rest of the season.
Well, we need this game, because I think these young guys have worked hard. They need a W. And I think once you get the taste of it, it make you realize that you can do it again, and it make them play a lot better. So that's basically what we're looking for.
Other than playing at Arrowhead and that experience you talked about, what's the biggest thing to gain from playing at D2 school?
Well, about as big as ULM playing us. Let's try to get a win. They come off, ULM came off a 34-0 loss to Oklahoma, and they needed that win as much as we need a win this week. And I'm not saying because we're playing Lincoln that's going to happen, because you still got to play the game. And there's been some upsets out there from FCS schools over some FBS schools, and we certainly hope that Lincoln does not pull that upset on us. So we got to go out and play.
Were you surprised about how many balls your receivers dropped against ULM?
Yeah, I'm surprised and disappointed more than surprised. I know at halftime, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think DJ was like 8 for 14, and probably should have been about 11 for 14.
13
for 14.
Huh?
It should have been 13 for 14.
I don't know. I just remember, but you can't do nothing about that. He just got to keep throwing, and the receivers got to find a way to catch the football. Something that we got to work on. We got a young kid that hadn't played because of hamstrings. I think that could help us correct those. And Vernon Hunter from Mansfield, Chad Williams, who's a freshman, did a good job. I think Birdsong is doing an excellent job at tight end. But the other guys got to step it up and catch the football.
Every time the ball was thrown to Birdsong, he was able to grab it and come down with it. You think maybe you can never.
But Birdsong got one of the best pair of hands on this football team, along with the kid Vernon Hunter, who hadn't played. Birdsong is a guy that likes to play the game. Remind me of from a tight end standpoint, of a Tony Gonzalez type of guy. Put it in his hands, he's going to catch the football. And we just got to find a way to get it to him.
Seem to have found something with the running game. How far behind or close is the passing game to kind of complement that run game?
I don't think the pass game is that far if the receivers catch the football. If you notice, our whole game plan was a little different. We actually came out throwing the football more than we came out running the football on Saturday. Sometimes you got to break that monopoly of every time on first down you had the ball off. We threw on first down more often this week than we did in the past. But I also think because we was able to complete some passes, it gave us an opportunity to run the football. But we're not going to abandon the run whatsoever. We're not going to abandon the pass. I think when you watch the tape, you got to go in with the idea of what you think is going to work effectively against the team you play. We would have loved to pass more against Alabama A&M, but when your first 3 possession is inside the 10-yard line, it's a little different.
You think it showed the true character of this team when they came back and answered that opening kickoff with a sustained drive of their own?
That 75-yard drive was very encouraging, number one, because I think it spoke volume of what we can do if we put our mind to it. And they just went on down the field, perfect drive. The TD pass actually, was a pass call for a situation they had been playing us, and I really thought we was going to get the backside fade, but the quarterback backed up, and DJ did a great job of noticing that and going to the other side of the corner.
You mentioned Miller with some injuries. Any other injury updates that we should know about?
Well, Miller been out since the first week.
Yeah.
He hadn't played. The other one right now is the running back Skinner's shoulder. We ain't gonna get it checked today. He said he thought it was bruised heavily, but other than that, we're pretty good. Trey Ford, who has not played yet, the starting nose guard, has not played a game yet. So we got a couple of key people that have not played, especially in the interior line, that I think makes the difference.
When's Miller supposed to come back?
Miller's a guy that, I don't think this week is a week to bring back. I think he's running. I'm looking at it from the week going into Montgomery. He'll probably bring him back next week. Hopefully we can get Verlin Hunter back next week. And Trey is, I think, is probably about 80% right now. So we could have them all back next week. I don't know yet, but we'll find out.
If Skinner couldn't go for some reason, who would be next in line?
If Skinner can't go, we'll go back to Martin and maybe Rudder, and Justin Kelly is certainly going to touch the football. So, and Noble, but we feel pretty good. If Skinner can't go, then we can rotate some guys in to get it done.
You talked about DJ settling down in all this game. Was it just getting that first game under his belt? What do you think really helped him calm down this game a little bit?
I don't know, but it was almost, to be honest with you, as a coach, it was almost like a quarterback grew up against a worthy opponent. I think that's when you look at it. It wasn't against Lincoln, it was against ULM. And to see that against ULM, I think what it does is breeds confidence in the player themselves. And I even think the other guys who played pretty decent against ULM, it helps them realize that we're a better player, we're a better football team than we've displayed so far.